Off day and welcome to Weekend Edition. I'm Crystal Paco, so glad you could join us. 8 lives lost so far this year after pedestrians are hit by a car while crossing or walking along Guam's roads. It's an issue authorities hope to further prevent. The safety concerns also highlighted as the Walkability Institute focuses its effort to increase foot traffic, ultimately pushing for a healthier Guam. Carmen Terlahi reports.
Not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. Public Health Center for Non-Communicable Diseases recently conducted a walkability assessment, observing 210 different streets on island. Visiting guest speaker Mark Fenton, public health planning and transportation consultant, says people want the option to get by on foot.
So people say we don't have a culture of walking, but if you get out there and look, there are people making their way on foot. We see kids going to and from neighborhoods and down to the beach, and we see people making their way to the store. The way to make it really the cultural norm is to make it safe and inviting and comfortable.
Safety, a top deterrent. 6 months into the year, and so far 8 deadly auto pedestrian accidents have put the community on high alert. The latest just this week. 31-year-old Barbara Lazama was walking home with her 12-year-old daughter before a car struck from behind and took her and her unborn baby's life. And Melinda Duenas, 32, was struck by a car in front of American grocery store. In their survey, Haley Cash, epidemiologist with the Pacific Island Health Officers Association, says they found little to no street lights and barely any sidewalks.
People aren't going to walk and they are not going to want to be out and be physically active if they don't feel that the streets are safe. So it's important that people have designated places to walk, such as sidewalks, and that those sidewalks are safe and secure.
As you can see, many village roads lack sidewalks. This just one of many roadblocks on the bumpy pavement to making Guam's roads safer and pedestrian friendly.
We found a lot of streets were lacking sidewalks, or that the sidewalk quality was really poor. We also found other issues that shouldn't be too surprising, such as stray dogs or boondy dogs. We also found a large amount of trash and dumping on the streets as well.
Senators and mayors also attended the conference. Conference leaders hoping to address these concerns so walking can become the norm and part of a healthy lifestyle. Reporting for Guam Seas Network, I'm Carmen Victoria Terlahi.
They're the island's oldest and wisest. Unfortunately, with age, the elderly also become the most vulnerable to abuse. While the month of May marked Senior Citizens Month, efforts for awareness continued. Earlier this week, the Pacific Judicial Council hosted a 3-day workshop focused on elder abuse. Here's more.
Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there.
It's a hidden activity. Generally, the elderly, if they are being abused, nobody knows it because of the nature of aging and also the nature of people not perceiving that that could happen to an elder.
Retired Judge Karen Howes is from the National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges and the nonprofit Futures Without Violence. She's just one of the speakers in the 2018 Pacific Judicial Council's workshop focused on elder abuse, held earlier this week.
Elder abuse is becoming one of the most pervasive issues related to family violence in the United States and, quite frankly, across the world.
That's why the issue is before the Pacific Judicial Council, which includes judges from not just Guam, but also the CNMI, Palau, American Samoa, and FSM. Justice Philip Carbolito.
We're hoping to try and have a collaborative, collective approach to these type of issues, and this is the purpose of the Pacific Judicial Council. They're a very important part of our community that we look up to, in terms of our elders, and we want to make sure that they are protected in our community.
What we're trying to say to the judges is this is a reality. It's going to grow because, the baby boomers are becoming older, and the needs of those folks like myself are going to grow. So we can get in front of this so that you don't have a crisis, that you don't have deaths that could have been avoided by creating a sense within the community that this is going to be an ongoing issue and that we need to get in front of it.
So what are the signs of elder abuse?
The signs are if you don't see somebody for a while, if it appears that they may be less focused, Maybe they need additional services. I know here, my understanding is because of the family connections, but also because of the faith community, that there are people who have eyes on folks who are older. But we have to be alert in the community, because if somebody doesn't show up for a couple days, maybe there may be something going on. If a person comes to the doctor's office and there may be a different way that they are acting, maybe cognitively, that should be raised with the doctor, and the doctor should raise some concerns as well.
If you're a social worker, a teacher, or a family member and want to know where you can learn more, visit the National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges at their website, ncjfcj.org.
The renewal for Guam's first charter school, Guahan Academy, is at a standstill. GAC's still waiting to hear back after sending a letter of appeal to WASC accreditation officials who denied the school accreditation status. Accreditation is required by law to be attained by a charter school within 5 years. School administrators say they are hopeful to hear back soon, but are unsure of when. Here's Sal Babauta.
It's kind of like the Bible of how
which they were the ones who
you need to get accredited. So I think if whoever's chairing the accreditation committee for GACs, that this Bible ought to be reviewed closely, and if there's any issues that's relative to this Bible that somehow is preventing GACs from being accredited, then the chair of GACs' accreditation team need to contact the point of contact at WASC.
At the work session, GACS admin responded to parent concerns about a survey they conducted, telling the council they conducted a similar survey last year, and 683 of 885 students currently enrolled expressed interest to return to GACS next school year. Though renewal could make or break this possibility, the council has until June 15th to decide. Senator Michael St. Nicholas wants voters to decide whether to ask Congress to amend the Organic Act to ensure that key issues such as tax increases or substantial government borrowing should be approved by referendum. St. Nicholas, who is a candidate for Congress, has introduced a trio of bills that require the Election Commission to poll the people on the following proposed changes to federal law. Should voters ratify any government borrowing of $25 million or more? Should voters ratify any new taxes or tax increases? And finally, should a required percentage of tax collections be deposited into a tax refund payment trust fund? St. Nicholas had introduced resolutions on the very same issues at last month's legislative session, but those measures were voted down. Some senators objected to what they saw as a signal to Congress that the local government was not responsible enough to handle its own finances. The annual budget hearing for the Mayor's Council again raises the question about what's a fair distribution of money and resources between the 19 villages. Council Executive Director Angel Sablan says there is a wide disparity in size and population between Dededo, Jigo, Tamuning, and Mangilao and the smaller villages. But because their bylaws give equal votes to each village, the small communities manage to maintain an equal share.
4 big villages. The other villages with our medium and smaller always outvote the big village. So when it comes to sharing the money, the smaller villages always say, I want the same as you.
Sablan says the voting becomes even more disproportionate when you add in the 8 vice mayors.
Take, for example, Sinahanya with less than a square mile in land area and 2,000 some odd people have a vice mayor versus Mongmung Totumaiti that has a bigger land area and over 6,000 people, and they don't have a vice mayor.
Sablan suggests to make it more fair, senators can amend the law and limit each village to just 1 vote by the mayor and exclude the voting by vice mayors. A call for more flights between Guam and Saipan. NMI Congressman Gregorio Kilili Sablan is asking United Airlines to consider increasing the number of daily flights between the 2 islands. There is currently 1 daily flight since Cape Air, who provided multiple flights, pulled out of the market on May 31st. Sablan says the reduction in service will have a devastating effect for travelers. Adding passengers connecting to Hawaii and the U.S. mainland would be forced to wait up to 21 hours for the next flight leaving Guam. He ultimately is asking for the flight adjustment to shorten wait times. Well, build your kits and check your shutters because it's officially Typhoon Preparedness Month. Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio recently signed the proclamation promoting typhoon hazard awareness and preparedness for the public. Civil Defense Administrator Charles Estevez says typhoons continue to be the island's #1 threat.
A lot of us, many times, we don't prepare until we actually perceive that the threat is real. And those who have been through a super typhoon in the past, you know that threat's real. The younger generation, we have to kind of get them into that preparedness mindset as well.
The Guam Homeland and also showcased their typhoon preparedness video that made by high school students and the AmeriCorps puppet show featuring Typhoon Maddie. For more information on this month's events, visit ghs.guam.gov. Well, the race is on. Nearly 100 people picking up packets as the deadline draws near for candidates to file with the Guam Election Commission. Nick Delgado has your Decision Watch.
A growing list of potential candidates for the upcoming election. It's the island's chance to select the next batch of leaders, including for governor, lieutenant governor, delegate, the legislature, the Consolidated Commission on Utilities, the Guam Education Board, and the Office of Attorney General. Let's take a look at the race for AG. 6 people have picked up packets so far. On the GEC's list, Jessica Barrett, former Superior Court Magistrates Judge Alberto Tolentino, Frank Gary Gumatauta, who previously ran for the position, as well as for Lieutenant Governor, Senator James Espaldon, former Attorney General Doug Moylan, and Attorney Levin Camacho.
I just felt like this is the right time to do it.
Camacho recently spoke with Rotarians about his decision to go for the job. He detailed several issues he hoped to take on if elected.
We read in the news these areas where all these crimes are being committed. Maybe we need to go out there and talk to people and make them feel better, because I can tell you right now that sometimes victims of crimes don't feel that law enforcement is on their side. And they don't feel that prosecutors are there to effectuate justice. They think that they're there to carry out political vendettas or as a kind of, they don't believe that they're being treated fairly. And it's just not a good situation when victims of crimes don't believe that they're being treated fairly by the criminal justice system.
More potential candidates are showing interest in running for the position after incumbent Attorney General Elizabeth Barrett Anderson previously announced she would not be seeking re-election. Her decision, she said, was to allow her the opportunity to spend more time with family. So far, more than a dozen have filed their candidacy packets with the GEC, but none for AG. With this week's Decision Watch for Guam's News Network, Guahusi Nick Delgado.
Stay tuned, more when Weekend Edition returns.
There are more ways to experience KUAM News than any other source on Guam. Download the KUAM News app for your Apple or Android device for 24/7 news, sports, videos, weather, streaming with KUAM radio, and important news alerts. And stay connected at home with Guam's first app for Apple TV. All available now from the App Store.
A simple handshake. That's all Jake Calvo needed when he started his company. Today, 80 years later, we like to say thank you to all of you who have taken our hand in trust. Thank you to the dreamers. Thank you to the realists. Thank you to the family-oriented. Thank you to the entrepreneurial. Thank you to those climbing the corporate ladder. And to the ones starting a new life together. Thank you to the traditionalists and the edgy. To the young at heart and the old souls. Thank you to the daring, to the protective, to the practical. Thank you to the hopeful. To all of you from all of us, our deepest, happiest, and infinite thanks.
80 years here for you. 80 years thanks to you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
A strong economy depends on a strong middle class. Businesses need help to survive in these tough times, and new industries are needed. As your governor, I will propose tax cuts for small businesses. We will streamline government operations to create a more business-friendly environment. We will invest in infrastructure and in our people by expanding opportunities to learn much-needed trades. I'm in to help get us there, and I humbly ask for your vote.
I'm Lilian Guerrero, and I approve this message. It's a celebration at Cars Plus in Mighty. And during our Jeep Celebration event, you'll save thousands on every new Jeep in stock, like a new 2018 Compass. Save up to $3,750. Or save up to $4,000 on a new 2018 Cherokee. How about a new Renegade? Save up to $6,000. Plus, buy today and receive a Cars Plus value card, where you get 21 cents off per gallon at all Shell stations. Hurry in for our Jeep Celebration event, going on now at Cars Plus in Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Enjoy Eats on the Streets at the 6th Annual Guam Barbecue Block Party. Head down to Pleasure Island, Tumon on Saturday, July 7th from 5:30 to 10 p.m. for live entertainment, a classic car show, hot diggity dog hot dog eating contest, and see who will win the island's biggest barbecue competition. Admission is free. This GBB signature event is presented by T Galleria by DFS, Plaza Shopping Center, Outrigger Guam Beach Resort, and Dusitani Guam Resort, making Guam a better place to live, work, visit, and barbecue. There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
Welcome back. Time now to take a look at what's been trending on our social media this week. Here's Asha Robles with Trend Spotting.
Hey everyone, I'm Asha Robles, and here's what happened this week on Trend Spotting. Sergeant Paul Tapau sat down with Jason Solis in studio and went over the many details regarding Guam's curfew law. The law states that minors need to be indoors after 10 p.m. on Sundays through Thursdays unless accompanied by a prudent adult. Many of our readers expressed their adherence of the law, while some readers did not feel as if the law was enforced at all. Bobby says, "In my house, my boys know that when the street lights turn on, then that means their butt better be at the front door. I don't understand these parents that have these kids and just let them run around at all hours of the night. Do they have kids just for the public health benefits, food stamp, cash aid, or is more money for their tax return? That's if they even have a job." Justin Matau states, "Many island residents don't realize that Guam has a curfew law and has for a long time. Well, maybe because this law has never been enforced for a long time." 2 Guamanians were arrested in connection with a massive cockfighting ring in Washington. Agents seized 300 roosters along with the arrests. Our local community was split in regards to the outcome. Jersey Era says, "Some culture, it's legal to sacrifice goats, chicken, etc. Some also fight water buffalo, kills fighting bulls as a sport. Cockfighting is a cultural thing. Same in PI. Just saying." In response to Jersey's comment, Patrick says, "Just because it's cultural does not make it right. It's animal cruelty and intentionally causing injury to animals." What are your feelings on the subject? Comment below. In more positive news, the Fallen Heroes Run took place this past Saturday. During the run, the battalion stopped by the Flores family home in Afami to pay their respects. Nearly 1,500 people liked our photo and paid their respects to Specialist Dwayne Flores, who was killed in action in 2013 during a NATO training mission. Here are some of the comments. A female Guam kingfisher bird hatched at the Smithsonian Conservation Biology Institute on May 17th. Kingfishers are brightly colored birds and are among the most endangered species on the planet. 140 kingfishers are alive today, and all live in human care. The animal is an endangered species of the island, and over 2,000 of our Instagram followers expressed their love for this special moment. Here are some of their comments. That's it for now. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, Asha. More when Weekend Edition returns.
It's a celebration at Cars Plus and Mighty. And during our Jeep Celebration event, you'll save thousands on every new Jeep in stock, like a new 2018 Compass. Save up to $3,750. Or save up to $4,000 on a new 2018 Cherokee. How about a new Renegade? Save up to $6,000. Plus, buy today and receive a Cars Plus value card, where you get 21 cents off per gallon at all Shell stations. Hurry in for our Jeep Celebration event, going on now at Cars Plus and Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
We're celebrating our 135th anniversary today, both in the outlying regions on which we hub and also here in Guam itself. It means so much to our team here in Guam. It means a lot to us in the Matson management team, because what it says is we're here to stay. It's a real physical manifestation of our commitment to this region. It's so important that we hire locally, we develop talent locally, we train locally. What's been a wonderful addition to our approach there is that many of the people who started off in Guam have gone off into significant leadership roles elsewhere in the company.
This is our headquarters here in Guam in Micronesia. And when we talk about putting down our roots, it's not just doing business, it's about everything we do with our friends, our customers, and our employees. I believe that nobody can replicate what we do, and that's why we have such a great team and such a great service and why we're successful. This is our home, this is our life, and we're happy to make a difference in everyone else's life.
In this divided world, there are still things that unite us. Great music, thrilling games, and the love for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam, for the love of burgers menu. For a limited time, get an amazing burger for just $11.99. Lunchtime at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
We're back, everybody. Now, investigative police work is very, very complicated to do. It's a complex process, and GPD needs your help. There's a case they're currently looking into. Sergeant Paul Tapao is here. He's with Guam Crime Stoppers as always. Sarge, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Okay, you guys have been working on a very tragic case. It was, you sang song about a week ago, real bad car accident and everything like that. What can you guys tell us at this point, and what do you need from us as a community?
Okay, from the community perspective, and of course for the interest of the Guam Crime Stoppers, I'll pretty much put the facts of the case with the package, and which the audience is going to hear. But we're asking anybody. This case or this incident happened on Sunday, June 3rd, around 7:20 in the evening. This is on Route 28, Waisensung Road. The two pedestrians were walking north of Palawan, and they were struck by a vehicle that may have sustained heavy frontal damages to the right, the front right portion of the vehicle. We're asking anybody that may have witnessed the crash or may know of a suspicious vehicle with this damages to please call our investigators. Again, the number is going to be listed on the package that we've prepared, and to provide information to the Guam Crime Stoppers. Unfortunately, the mother of the 12-year-old child had actually was pronounced deceased at 7:44. So that's about 20 minutes right after the crash. And we want to bring closure to the case. We want to bring closure to the family, and we want to bring this to justice and everything for what had happened. So again, visit our website if anybody has any information at guam.crimestoppersweb.com, or call our 24-hour hotline at 477-HELP. So we're asking anybody that either was motoring or within the vicinity of Waisensung, Route 28, Waisensung Road by Palawan on Sunday, June 3rd, between the hours of 7 o'clock to maybe 7:30 p.m. If you're traveling there, it was. We know for a fact that the lighting in that area is it's pretty much poor. So if you saw a vehicle that was traveling in a different direction with defective headlamps, that's an indicator too that we're looking for too.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, because you've said many times on this program, you worked in highway patrol for many years. You're intimately familiar with highway investigations like that. For people who may not know, like if a car comes in contact with a pedestrian, as it was in this case, what kind of damage would the car sustain? Because those are two completely different objects and everything. But in case people want to contribute and everything like that, and they happen to see something, how much damage could a car have?
Wherever the impact occurred, you're going to see impressions that's either going to be left by the object or left by the collision. And of course, that of a natural shape will have deformities. You may lose parts, you may lose, you may see indentures and everything. But that's the area of concentration in which we're looking for. And when we get in depth, we're going to look for different not microscopic, but telltale evidence that this vehicle was involved in a collision of interest in what we're looking for, whether it's paint transfer from different vehicles or body tissues or clothing items and what we're looking for. This helps us as investigators pinpoint the vehicle, the subject vehicle, and of course, the manner of impact. So you're going to see deformity in the vehicle, and of course the transfer of energy and the shifting of the natural state of the vehicle in itself.
Okay, well, we have the package that Paul was talking about. Let's go ahead and check this out and see the details and what you can do to help once again.
On Sunday, June 3rd at around 7:20 p.m., crash investigators from GPD's Highway Patrol Division assume a fatal hit-and-run crash that occurred on Route 28 Waisengsun Road, Dedido, by Chalan, Palawan. The preliminary investigation suggests that two pedestrians were walking north on the northbound shoulder on Route 28 Waisengsun Road when an unknown vehicle traveling north encroached onto the shoulder, colliding with the pedestrians, with the subject vehicle fleeing the scene. As a result of the crash, both pedestrians were transported to Guam Regional Medical City, where a 31-year-old female was pronounced deceased at 7:44 p.m. by attending physicians. The second pedestrian, a 12-year-old female, was treated and later released. During the course of the investigation, crash investigators determined that the subject vehicle may have sustained heavy frontal damages to the front right portion of the vehicle. This case is ongoing as crash investigators are asking to help from the community in reference to this case. Should anyone may have witnessed or have information, they are encouraged to call GPD's Highway Patrol Division at 477-1169 or our GPD dispatchers at 472-8911. If anyone has any information about this crime or any other crime, you can call our 24-hour hotline at 477-HELP, that's 4357, or submit a tip online at guam.crimestoppersweb.com. All calls will remain completely confidential, and a cash reward of up to $1,000 could be paid if the information provided leads to an arrest and a grand jury indictment. Your call does make a difference.
All right, Sarge, we appreciate it as always. We hope people come forward. And you've said, again, numerous times that no detail is too silly, too insignificant, too small, and everything like that. If anybody has any information, even if they may have heard tires screeching at that time of night on that particular day and everything like that, they should come forward as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The numbers were there in the package and everything. Call our numbers, give us that information, and you hit it spot on. There's nothing as minute as any. There's no such thing as a minute information or something too small that may not be significant. Give us a call. Let our investigators look into it. Let them follow up on those. The information that's provided, and then we can assess it from there.
And to close, that Isengsong area very, very well. It's a very narrow road. It's an old road, so it's not exactly smooth asphalt and everything like that. It's incredibly densely populated over there. What should people along that part of Dedido keep an eye out for under normal conditions?
Just be careful. Yeah, just be careful out there when transiting to and from. Be cognizant of the weather, be cognizant of the lighting, and of course, if you're going to choose to walk, please, adhere to the laws of the roadways. Wear light-colored clothing. Be seen and be safe. That's pretty much in which we can sum it up. Be seen, be safe, be careful, and use better judgment.
All right, Sarge, we'll do our very, very best to try and get you some more information on that. And if you have anything else relative to this case, please let us know.
Absolutely. Again, let's bring closure to the case, and let's, bring justice to the family.
All right, thank you much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, please stay tuned, everybody. We continue after this.
If you get nervous about having dental treatment, you're not alone. An estimated 35 million adults experience anxiety or nervousness at the simple thought of visiting the dentist. As your dentist, I strive to make your visit as painless or pain-free as possible. And I frequently tell my patients that in the 21st century, if we can give you medicines to put your tooth asleep or medicines to take an infection or toothache away, we can surely give you something to help relax you and take all fear away. No one ought to sit in a dental chair thinking of bad childhood memories or fearing injections. If you're a dental coward, but you really do want your teeth fixed, don't wait until the pain is killing you. Come in, tell us your fears, and set up an appointment. We have convinced many that dental treatment doesn't need to be scary anymore. For your helpful dental minute, I'm Dr. Kenny Bourgeois of Paradise Smiles. You shall never know all the good a simple smile can do.
In this divided world, there are still things that unite us. Great music, thrilling games, and the love for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam, for the love of burgers menu. For a limited time, get an amazing burger for just $11.99. Lunchtime at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
When you purchase a vehicle from our dealerships, we give back to the American Cancer Society and Guam Cancer Care. With your help, together, we've raised over $400,000, giving local cancer patients a gift of more anniversaries, more birthdays, more years, more days. Together, we're giving them the gift of time. Triple J, customers first.
And before we close out the news tonight,